Speak through me, ancestors. Speak through me. Jimmy Kato was an African warrior who refused to be a slave. Back then, enslaved Africans knew who they were. And they did everything they needed to do. Ran to the hills, burned the house down. Anything they had to do to not believe that they were slaves. I pretend to be a Catholic, but ethos what I practice. If we truly share the God, then why would they attack us? My captors speak Portuguese, I understand the language. I vow to them to speak it cause it represents my anguish. Months on the slave ship, weeks on an island, still haven't broke the warrior spirit I'm disguising. My people call me J-Man, others call me Kato. They call the river Sono. They say that if you follow, that you can find the Uru, the end of all your sorrow. A whisper in my ear.
Burn, that's a house tomorrow.
Congo yetu, yumbani kwa roho zetu. Ni pikana kume, kwa uhuru wetu.
Asante, my descendants, will you make my spirit welcome? The spirit was my tool, but my culture was my weapon. Please repeat my story, cause I will not live to tell one. I achieved my glory when I heard them yell rebellion. Asante, my descendants, will you make my spirit welcome? The gun was my tool, but my culture was my weapon. Please repeat my story, cause I will not live to tell one. I achieved my glory when I heard them yell rebellion.
For us, freedom was 200 miles away. At Fort Mosaic, we just got across the bay, win at night, forcing the fight where they lay. The fright, knowing they might not see the day. We were strong, some of our own we had to slay. They were wrong, spiritually gone and led us straight. I hold my throne, this was never my home. That's far away, I'm not alone. Spread out the bones, they got our shake at the top. They tell us to stop, we face the face of the crazy slave. I know they too scared to give a shake. I put you rolling in the ground, feel the blood go down my face. Cold water, sweet and dark, I try to keep the pace.
Asante, my descendants, will you make my spirit welcome? The spirit was my tool, but my culture was my weapon. Please repeat my story, cause I will not live to tell one. I achieved my glory when I heard them yell rebellion. Asante, my descendants, will you make my spirit welcome? The gun was my tool, but my culture was my weapon. Please repeat my story, cause I will not live to tell one. I achieved my glory when I heard them yell rebellion.
Family. If you're in or near Columbia, South Carolina, you've got to visit the House of Hathor, located at 6319 North Main Street. Open Tuesday through Saturday, it's your one-stop shop for African clothing, African masks, natural soaps, incense, candles, jewelry, and more. Plus, they've got a beautiful event space. Owned and operated by Baba Rutaski and Mama Neterma Canute. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the culture. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the movement. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the people.
Overall is an amazing school from the teacher to the students. Is a place where kids can build their confidence and learn how to write, read, type, all of that good stuff. We learn our history here. We honor our ancestors, so we learn about who we are and where we come from, and I really enjoy this about this school. And like everybody's pretty much saying, it's a safe space, and we can always be able to feel like we can open up to our classmates and our teachers. So that's what I love.
I love the environment and that they promote not being afraid to ask for help.
Something positive about the Ojuok Academy is this is a safe space, and you can be able to say whatever you want to say without being embarrassed. Just like how Amani said, I've been able to I'm sometimes I can be shy talking around people, but y'all have taught me not to be shy and everything. Like, this is a very good school. The part that I love about this is when we do ancestor reverence and African history.
I think this is the greatest school I've ever went to because you teach me about my history, and at the other schools they never taught me one thing about my history. They just taught, like, the only black people they talked about at my other schools were like Carter G. Woodson, Martin Luther King, and I think that's it. So you guys helped me learn my true history. They just taught, like, the only black people they talked about at my other.
Peace and power, family. Make sure if you know anyone who is in need of prenatal care, prenatal coaching, postnatal coaching, in need of a midwife to deliver that beautiful, beautiful black baby that you're about to have, get in touch with my beautiful queen, Nkoyo Bina Ojuok, the founder and CEO of Uhuru Mama Maternal Services. Visit uhurumama.com today or email us at life@uhurumama.com. Hey, y'all. We got to have some healthy babies, right? Well, you know what? That's a science that we brought over here with us. Get with it, Uhuru Mama. Get with Nkoyo Bina. And yeah, that's what that is. All right. All right, peace and power, family. Peace and power, family. Greetings to all. I won't be long. I'm going to play a lecture, stream a lecture that I had the pleasure to give a year ago. May 19th, Malcolm X's birthday, 2024, at the RBG Xplosion in Phoenix, Arizona. I posted yesterday that we got to balance this thing out. There's too much negativity out here. There's too much division out here going on. A lot of pseudo stuff happening out here as well. And when I say pseudo, I'm not talking about the philosophy being fake. I'm talking about the people being fake. You know what I'm saying? So a lot going on out here. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to step up and get black on my job. In 2011, myself, my beautiful queen, and our community, we developed or created the Temple of New African Unity. And through the temple, we were able to galvanize our community around real spiritual and cultural African unity and missions, putting things on the ground, saving families, marrying couples, the whole 9 yards. We developed a global network of black people who are interested in unifying, interested in figuring out unique ways that we can come together. And we want to bring that energy back to the forefront, black to the forefront. I'm going to begin tonight by sharing a lecture that I gave during Temple that weekend called What Does It Mean to Be Black? What does it mean to be African? And I think that's so appropriate right now because we still arguing over who we are. So let's just do this. Let me make if I find the right scene.
You are as great as any man of greatness that you've heard about, read about, or seen in real life, possibly greater.
Everybody wanna build with me, politic and chill with me. They see the fire still in me, the authentic is feeling me, the architects are feeling me, are dreaming about killing me. They wish that they could silence me because I feel so violently. We will not go quietly, subscribe to me until this show is virally. Got millions trying to vibe with me. Let's build. And honor our ancestors first. This is the Temple of New African Unity. I'm watching it with y'all, family, so if you have any questions in the chat, you know, let me know. I might pause it every now and then to make a point.
Right. We're an interfaith. We're an interfaith spiritual organization. In other words, you could be a Muslim and come to temple. You could be a Christian and come to temple. You could practice E5, who don't and come to temple. You could be Moorish and come to temple. And yes, even the Hebrew Israelites. Right? As long as we know when we close our eyes and we pray, you see us. When we close our eyes and we feel divinity, that divinity looks like you. Then you belong in temple. So when we meet and when we have temple, our whole goal is to foster spiritual unity among Black people all over the world.
whether you call yourself black or not. Ashe? Ashe. So in order to get started, before we get started, I'm good, thank you. And this is my beautiful wife in Koyo, y'all know. She is the co-founder of the Temple of New African Unity. We founded Temple in Fort Worth, Texas back in 2011. And we used Temple as a vehicle to bring different pockets of our community together that were doing positive things for our community, right? Well, from a spiritual base. So you find somebody that's working with black folks, they believe in God. You got to, right? Right? And what we found was that some of the things that kept us separated was because you're passing out food in the hood, but you're a Christian. The Muslims over there passing out food, but they Muslims. But why y'all not passing out food together? Right? Why you saying, well, this our block, this our block? No, we're not food pass out gang bang. That's not gonna happen, right? But if we come together, when we come together, we realize that we have more in common spiritually than we have different. And at the end of the day, your spiritual system is really just designed, right, to realign you with core values that we all believe in. Treat others how you would like to be treated. I've studied quite a few religions, and pretty much all of them teach that. So if we can come together based on those core values, then we can get out there in our community and we can work better together. Ashe? Ashe. All right. So we're going to begin as we always do. We're going to open up in prayer to the Creator, and then we're going to have a pour libation to our common ancestors. Ashe? Ashe. All right. So let's do this in whatever your preferred position of prayer is, please. And let's offer prayer. Creator, we come to you humbly. We come to you appreciative for another opportunity to gather, another opportunity to fellowship, another opportunity to learn, to discuss, to build community. Creator, we thank you for our challenges, for they make us stronger. We thank you for our ancestors. We thank you for our children, for they represent our future. We thank you for the honor of being on the battlefield, fighting for the culture, fighting for the minds and hearts of our people so that we can build a brighter future for ourselves. Creator, we understand that we're in a unique position to lift ourselves up, for that's going to lift up humanity. Thank you, Creator, for our mamas and our daddies, our big mamas. Thank you, Creator, for our aunties, our uncles, our friends. Thank you, Creator, for our communities. Thank you for this melanin. Thank you for this tight, kinky hair, Creator. Got to protect these beautiful Black minds. Guide us today as we embark on another conversation that just may lead to a community. Conversations change the world. So thank you for the opportunity to change the world. In the name of all those in the great line of divine, we pray. Amen. 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 Rob. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ooh, somebody collective prayer just make you feel a little different after you do that. All right. All right. We also want to honor our ancestors who we invite to be with us and to guide us from their plane of awareness, so we can be about the things that we are about and say the things that we are about to say. As African people, we recognize that we're only here because our ancestors were here. So who are we to begin any endeavor without honoring them first? Ashe? Ashe. The way we do it is quite simple, right? Quite simple. We're going to call out a name. You can raise your hand. I'll recognize you. Call out the name of an ancestor, a loved one, or one of our common ancestors who have passed away. I'll repeat that name. We're going to pour that name into the plant, and we're going to give it an Ashe. Everybody say Ashe? Ashe. Ashe is merely a West African term, which means so be it. Make it so. And there is power in your Ashe. 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 We tell our babies, clean up that room, Ashe. Ashe. All right. They better say it back. If they don't say it back, it ain't gonna happen. All right. All right. I like to start us off. If you don't mind, I'd like to pour libation today for my mother, Alice Baker. Ashe. 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 Raise your hand.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. Ashe. Ashe.
My paternal grandmother, Christine Weathers.
If you're watching, feel free to put an ancestor in the chat.
My mother, Vicky Jackson.
Vicky Jackson, Ashe. Ashe. Steve Biko, all right, what I like. Ashe.
Father John Lewis.
Jason Perry.
Jason Perry, Ashe.
Ashe. John Lewis.
John Lewis, Ashe. Ashe. Okay, Jason Jones, Ashe. Ashe. My brother, Alex Williams, Ashe. Ashe.
Great grandfather Ophilis.
His great grandfather, Ashe. 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 Yes.
My mother, Phyllis M. Littles.
Phyllis M. Littles, Miss Phyllis, I say.
I say.
Yes.
My grandmother, Mary Janelle.
His grandmother, Mary Janelle, I say.
I say.
Welcome, Mary, Miss Mary in here today.
My father and my mother, Leonard Craig and Mary Craig.
Leonard Craig and Mary Craig, I say.
I say.
Y'all know we come from a beautiful people, right?
Jermaine Johnson.
Jermaine Johnson, I say.
I say. Brenda Stowe, my mother.
Brenda Stowe, her mother, I say.
I say.
My father, Randall Sarbo.
Randall Sarabo, I say.
I say.
My maternal grandmother, Benoit Phillips. I shake.
His maternal grandmother, Benora Phillips, I say.
I say.
Sherry Griffin.
Huh?
Sherry Griffin. My mother.
Sherry Griffin, his mother, I say.
I say.
My brother, Kenneth Darren Thomas, I say.
I say.
Grandmother, Rena Mae Robinson.
Rena Mae Robinson, I say.
I
Yes.
Uncle Gary Hart.
His uncle, Gary Hardham, I say.
I say.
We honor your uncle.
My mother.
Well, her mother, Miss Linda Johnson, I say.
I say.
My bonus father, Larry Landrum.
Larry Landrum, I say.
I say.
Love to the bonus father.
Dr. Betty Shabazz.
Dr. Betty Shabazz, I say.
I say.
My father, Daniel Kodu.
Daniel Cotto, I say.
I say.
My father, Robert Parker, I say.
I say.
Yes.
Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Mosiah Garvey, I say.
I say.
Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela Mandela, I say.
I say. Winnie Mandela.
Winnie Mandela, I say.
I say.
All those who transition in the middle passage, I say.
I say.
Y'all, at this time, we call on all those we have not named, but we certainly have not forgotten. I say.
I say.
I say.
I say.
I say.
I say.
Give it up for your ancestors. Give it up for your our ancestors, right? Make us feel like we come from the same tree, don't we? Huh? Deep roots. Always remember from whence we came, which leads us right into our topic today.
Oh, somebody coming.
Probably right.
We went getting on the plane. My wife might have gotten one day. Yes, she loves a good plant now. All right, come my house, boy. Like, yes. Today's topic: what does it mean to be Black? What does it mean to be African? Y'all know one thing that's unique about us, particularly African people in America, but also abroad, as I'm learning. We go by many names. We're not the same, right? There are a lot of attempts to pigeonhole us into being the same. And then we got this spiritual pull that kind of just makes us want to come together, don't we? Yep. Right? We collectively feel things as a collective, right? But because of our social engineering, a lot of times we feel more together when something bad happens than when something good happens. Yep. When a Black person invents something, we say, look what he invented. But then when a Black person kills another Black person, we say, we out here killing each other. The inventor is an individual, but the killer represents who? All of us. So something must have happened along the way to where our default definition of who we are has been degraded in a way to where we feel inferior, whether we want to say it or not. And it's something that we have to deal with. A lot of times in our movement, we talk about fighting white supremacy. But the bigger battle is with Black inferiority. There is no white supremacy without Black inferiority. It don't work unless you feel inferior.
Right.
Our battle is not to convince them they're not superior. Our battle is not to convince us that they're not superior. Our battle is to convince us that we're not inferior. My name is Baba Amin, by the way. I ain't met everybody. I'm the co-founder of the Uhuru Academy and the Temple of New African Unity, along with my beautiful wife, Nkoyo Ojuok. We hail from Fort Worth, Texas. We currently live in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm also the spokesman, national spokesman for RBG Nation. I'm very proud of that too. I want to show love to the Our Black Fathers Committee for their 3rd annual RBG Xplosion. We have RBG chapters all over the nation. Some very active, some not as active, right? But all working for the betterment of themselves and for their community. So I want to shout out to Lone Star RBG. I want to shout out to Outlaw RBGs in Atlanta. I want to shout out to Repack Nation in Florida and the QC RBGs in North Carolina. I want to shout out to Sister Elnora and the Arkansas RBGs just opened a new restaurant down there. I want to shout out to the Memphis RBGs, Manefa RBGs. So there's a national family. So I definitely want to shout them out and shout them out because grassroots community events like this is a part of our model. This is what we do. Also, we place a premium on working with young people in the community. And I definitely want to shout out to our Black Fathers Committee for the great work they've been doing with young men in this community. Let's give them another round of being able to teach some classes. You know, when someone shares their students with you as a teacher, that's a great honor. That's a sacred trust. And so I'm honored to be a part. I'm an honorary member of OPLC. I'm just letting y'all know. I ain't got my shirt yet, but you know. Right. All right, so let's get into our topic today. Well, I'm going to speak to you briefly, and then we're gonna have a panel discussion, right? And but I want to talk about the importance of self-definition, because when you talk about what it means to be Black, everybody's definition of what that is might not be the same. So we have to talk about the importance of self-definition. Another reason why we have to talk about the importance of self-definition is because that's something that was robbed from us during the Ma'afa, right? But you have a legacy. I never start our story in slavery, though. You have a legacy of self-definition that dates back to the dawn of humanity. African people were the first people to call anything, anything, or call anybody anything. You gave the first compliment and the first insult. You did that. You the first one to call somebody by their name and to call somebody out of their name. You did that. You the first one to realize that there's a science to self-definition and that your culture dictates what your name means. You established one of the world's oldest spiritual systems, Ma'at, in ancient Kemet. You established the 42 positive admonitions of Ma'at, really over 140 of them. And when you did that, when our ancestors did that, they were developing self-definition because they didn't say like the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. No, when our ancestors wrote it, they said, I have not killed. Well, they woke up in the morning and said, I will not kill. And before they went to bed at night, they said, I did not kill. And they checked themselves every day. Why? They were defining themselves. I will not speak ill of others. They said that in the morning. And they got home at night. I didn't. Oh, wait a minute. Can't say that one tonight. We got to hone up. I'll try to finish that one what? Tomorrow, but I'm gonna check myself each and every what? Day. And I'm gonna check myself until doing these appropriate behaviors that we need, not because there's a white God in heaven waiting on me. Behaviors that we need to exhibit in order for our children to survive and thrive. So tomorrow, I'm going to try again. That's your legacy and self-definition. You began coming up with names like Imhotep. Now, how cool is it? Imhotep, the name of the world's first known multi-genius. Y'all heard of Imhotep? Imhotep is the oldest individual in history that we have details of in all of humanity. We know of people prior to Imhotep, but Imhotep is the first one who we know his name. We know what job he did. We know where he lived. The whole nother yard. A Black man, and he had a name, Imhotep. And the Imhotep name translates into he who comes in peace. Our ancestors understood the power in a name. Imhotep is considered the father of medicine. When doctors take the Hippocratic oath, they swear to a god named Asclepius. Well, Asclepius is a Greek name, a Greek god that the Greeks named after Imhotep. Because the Greeks considered this black man a what? A god. Ooh, it's power in the name, man. Somebody like, ooh, I'm gonna name my next baby Imhotep. Imhotep Douglas. Ain't got to the last name. That's all right. We take it as we can get it, right? Right? But you see the power in the name? So we've been understanding the power of self-determination of Kuji Chagulia since the beginning of the dawn of civilization. So it matters what you call yourself, but it matters how you define what you call yourself. If I call myself black, but I decided that means that I kill somebody, I kill another black person, then the definition just destroyed the name. If someone takes your name and put a new definition on it, if you believe their new definition, that's when that inferiority complex kicks in. Does that make sense, y'all?
Yeah.
The good news is you can take it back. You can take it back. And when you take it back, there's going to be some resistance. But if you stand on it, and then if you build around it, they can talk about your name. But you're like, but this is what my name built.
Right.
So we out here debating, we not black, we not African, we foundational black American. We did build something around.
Right. Right.
Because if both of us broke, who care what our name is?
That part.
If ain't none of us got no buildings, no institutions, no communities, what difference is what we call ourselves? Who benefits from that? I had brothers come with the brothers about the Moorish signs. Man, I love Moorish signs. Go show me what Moorish signs builds.
Right.
Oh, build on it. Don't debate with me. Me and you debating over in a building we neither one of us own. That don't make sense, do it? Right? Who we consider ourselves is not just important to us. It's very important to other people too. What one of the main things that Ma'afa did, y'all know that term, Ma'afa? Ma'afa was term coined by Mama Marimba Ani. I'm a proud member of the Abakasum Collective and a proud member of the African Sovereignty Movement under the leadership of Dr. Marimba Ani. She actually coined the phrase Ma'afa, which means the great disaster. And that's that period of time in our history where we suffered under slavery and colonialism. The Ma'afa been going on for about 500 plus years, and we're still in it. All right? Now, don't get it twisted. You got millions of years, hundreds of thousands of years prior to that, not being in a Ma'afa. That ain't where your history starts. But this has been an interruption in our history, but also a valuable lesson in our history. One of the main tools that enemies of African people used during the Ma'afa was the tool of lying about who you are and redefining what it means to be black. See, you can't come down here and enslave and enlighten people and justify that to your crooked church. You have to say that these people are not enlightened. Matter of fact, they're just like animals. So if we can capture monkeys, we should be able to capture them. They have no intelligence. I mean, they see all the statues. You don't think they saw the Sphinx? You don't see they saw all that art, excuse me, left behind by the Nok culture, by ancient Ghana, by ancient Mali, ancient Songhai? You don't think them Europeans saw all of that when they went into Africa? Of course they did. But we can't get the church to write off on kidnapping this warrior who's also a healer that knows the name of 500 different herbs and how to use them all at the same time. We can't justify that he deserves to be a slave.
That's right.
We got down there, he was saying, ooh, we couldn't even talk. They were eating each other and everything. Just went home and lied. And they redefined what it means to be what? Black. Yeah, but we ain't the first ones. The problem is today, we make the same argument that the enslavers made as to what it means to be black. They should say, we can enslave them because they savages. Now we get hyped and when our kids say, ooh, I'm a savage. We can enslave them, they nothing but beasts. Now we're like, yeah, go in beast mode. They used to say the women, their women are promiscuous and they just want to have sex and they're this. They said that back then. They have no concept of family. It's okay to rape them. It's not even really rape.
Y'all know they said that?
Trespass.
Yeah. Now today, we clapping at the BET Awards. And when black women are out there saying, yeah, for the right price, I'll do something strange for a piece of change. Ain't that in the music? We love to see them successful. But at the same time, at what cost?
Yes.
You see what's going on in Israel today, right? Read some of the language that Israel uses to justify why they can bomb Palestinian children. Guess what they call them? Savages, beasts, inferior, terrorists, immoral, all these things that Thomas Jefferson called you in the notes on the state of Virginia in 1784.
Watch out.
Oh yeah, America defined black people, what it means to be black. He gave y'all some props. He gave us some props too. He said, we real good at music. We still are. So we can entertain, can't we? We can entertain. He wasn't lying. We real good at music. But he said, but amongst them, I found no real expression of true art.
Wow.
He talked about Phyllis Wheatley. He said, yeah, we got a Phyllis Wheatley, because Phyllis Wheatley was a great African-American writer. He said, but our stuff, I'm paraphrasing, it's like, to her stuff, it's like Hercules to a human. That's what Thomas Jefferson wrote. Oh, the only thing we learned in school he wrote was Declaration of Independence. When he said that all men were created what?
Equal.
Yeah, he wasn't talking about y'all. He wrote that he wasn't talking about us. But it's funny because today, when we talk about what it means to be black, I saw a movie that Snoop did not too long ago called The Underdog, where he's working with some youth on the youth football team.
Terrible.
Right? And I'm like, that's cool. Snoop, you working with the youth. And da-da-da-da. But when I saw how they characterized black culture in that film, I said, man, that's Thomas Jefferson's definition. All the black children were immoral, like really immoral. They was cussing and all that. And yeah, I work with young people, so they come with these conversations, but you got to bring the context around that, right? You can't just make it a comedy and you don't provide some context, some history. Because you just lay it out there like a comedy, then people who are looking at it saying, oh, that's what it means to be what? Black. Like it ain't no little black nerds walking around the hood. I was one. Huh? Ain't no black youth walking around the hood wanting to water some plants. I'm sure it is, right?
Yeah.
Right? Or are there still black youth in the neighborhood that do their homework?
Yes.
And have plans?
Yes.
Matter of fact, aren't the majority of our children doing the best they can with what they have?
Right.
Who's gonna tell that story? We have our job to tell. But when you're a part of a machine that controls the definition, you may step in there thinking you finna tell it. They're gonna say, not on my machine though. Go start your own machine. My machine is gonna provoke this definition. And we're gonna pour millions behind Thomas Jefferson's version of what black people are. And we're gonna pay you to perpetuate. Am I making sense, y'all?
Yes, sir.
All right. Look, today is Malcolm X Day. Let's give it up for now. I had to bring Malcolm X into the conversation because the life of Malcolm X is such a stark example of the power of self-determination. Malcolm, as a child, growing up in Omaha, Nebraska, and then later in Lansing, Michigan. Malcolm, as a child, his family, his mother and father, Earl and Louise Little, who were Garveyites, right? They were in a battle. They weren't just fighting racism. They were in an identity battle. They belonged to an organization that said we were Africans, did they not? They belonged to an organization that said God was black. They belonged to an organization that said Africa for the Africans. But they lived in Omaha, Nebraska. And Omaha, Nebraska did not believe in Africa for the African. Omaha, Nebraska called you a nigger. Not with the A either, with the ER. Omaha, Nebraska believed in what Thomas Jefferson said, that even a good one, Rondo,
Even if you good, Quando, I don't mean to use you as an example, but I mean, you know, the white folks let you fix their roof. You know, they love you because every time they see you, you're smiling, right? How you doing, Mr. Sir? You don't disrespect nobody. You're a handyman, can do anything. They love you, but even as they love, oh, and you accepted Jesus. But and even the liberal ones who say, I never supported slavery. Even that one believes that inherently, though, you're inferior.
That's right.
And that without that religion, without their language, without their culture, you would be a savage. And the only thing that makes them different than the racist one is their belief that their system can tame you. That's it. But they both believe in your what? Inferiority.
Right.
That sounds like 2024, don't it?
Come on.
Y'all know Biden don't believe that you're equal.
Come on.
Y'all know the Democrats, Republicans, all wings on the same bird when it comes to black inferiority. Right? So Malcolm's family was dealing with this. They were teaching one identity of what it meant to be black inside the house. And then, but dealing with another identity or definition of what it means to be black where? Outside the house. And they had the challenge of arming their children with the belief in the house that could protect them when they what? Was outside the house. Does that sound like today?
Right.
How many of you right now? I'll raise my hand first. Struggle with teaching your children an identity inside the home. But then they have to leave the home. And when they come back into the home, they bring some stuff that they didn't pick up at the house.
Right.
Some of you got them in the house. And now they can get on their phones and everything. They picking up a whole new identity while in your house. The laws of my art right there on your wall. That big. They looking at Mr. Beats on YouTube.
Right. Right.
They doing TikTok dances right in front of my eye. They're learning identity. What does it mean to be black? What does it mean to be African? And that question is being answered every day by different people with different agendas. What's your agenda? What's your agenda? The littles had an agenda. Did they not? Yes, they did. What's your agenda? The people that murdered Malcolm's father, they had a what? An agenda. He was killed because of his identity. He was killed because of the definition that he accepted and the behavior that definition brought about. He wasn't hurting white people. But they understood that a black man who defined themselves as such, with that kind of pride, they couldn't compete with him. You can't let him in the market. Because you know how you get on a basketball court, you can go behind your back and you can do this like this. You can do that on Wall Street too.
Come on.
That same ingenuity to go behind the back or Odell Beckham catch it like this, you have that same ingenuity in the insurance business. You have the same ingenuity in the real estate business. It's not just physical. That's intelligent. Everything that your body does, it got told to do that by your what? By your mind. So they're trying to tell you only good for athletics. No, that's not athletics. That's kinetic intelligence.
Come on.
And just like with that intelligent on the field, with that intelligent as engineers. And so we have to control your definition, sister, because they can't compete with you when you know who you are.
Come on.
That's right. They want you to go put that perm back in. Because they know when you walk in with the perm, that's one of the ones that want to be like us.
Right.
That's one of the ones that want, they might not be right all the time, but their thought process is, that's a safe. Then all of you come, that beautiful copper and turquoise and locked up like that, and you walk up in their corporate car. Oh, Lord have mercy. We can't tell that one nothing today. We got to be fair. She done read the policy procedure manual.
Yep.
The one with the perm just happy to what? Be here. We were ready to just be happy that you at the table.
Right.
No, I want to eat.
Right.
I want my own table. They like, why is you can smile every day. Why is she so angry? She ain't angry. You just know that she's supposed to be angry.
Right.
You know that she know what you did. You know that she know what you're doing. Man, identity? Malcolm had to deal with it. His family had to deal with it. But y'all, this is deeply rooted in our psyche. I'm gonna land this plane. Malcolm moved to Harlem in the mid-30s. No, early 40s. Within 4 years, he sent to prison. When he moved to Harlem, he was detached from the cultural norms that his mother and father were raising him with. Matter of fact, by this time, his father's killed and his mother is placed in an insane asylum. We don't pay enough attention to Louis Little, who was a writer for the Negro World magazine newspaper. Louis Little, who was really the cultural foundation in the family, who traveled to the United States from the island to build a better life. Louise Little, who even after her husband died, did everything she could to keep the state out of their household. You gotta imagine what it does to a proud Black woman who's an intelligent writer and activist mind when they all of a sudden have to do white people's laundry. Who all of a sudden have to let white people into their household to inspect her children. Back in those days, the welfare came to your house. It broke her down. And you know, a lot of times people will commit you, not because you crazy, but because you disagree with what they're trying to do to you. Louise Little called the system out for what it was, and they had her committed. She was forced to accept the assistance from the system. But once you accept assistance from the system, you have to accept the system's definition of who you are. You ain't never went and got food stamps and they said, welcome, proud Black woman. That ain't happened. You ain't never sat down food stamp and say, well, you know what? You are a Black queen and we just want to get you back on your feet. It don't work like that. No, when you get in there, you're a welfare recipient.
Anything to demoralize.
Matter of fact, they used to call them, what they had? Welfare queen. That's the type of queen you was. You wasn't an African queen, you was a what? A welfare queen. And told that to what? Demean you. Why? Because there's profit in welfare. In capitalism, capitalism renders the poor as consumers of goods. And they use the poor as a way to channel money from the government into corporate America. Notice how you get a card, you don't get no money? Who gets the money? The federal government gets the money. You get the card, then the merchants get the what? The money. I'm sure it's just an accident. What does it mean to be Black? At the same time in Harlem, Kenneth and Mamie Clark was conducting the doll test. Y'all heard of the doll test? Right? Where they brought in Black children and they brought out a white doll and a Black doll. And they asked the Black children a series of questions related to those dolls. Some of the questions included, which doll would you like to play with? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the pretty doll? Which doll is the ugly doll? Then they asked, which doll is the white doll? Which doll is the Black doll? And which doll looks like you? Now, the tripped out part about the doll test, when we hear about it, we think about Brown versus the Board of Education and desegregating schools, right? And we think about segregation and we think about the South, don't we? But it's a trip because they didn't do the test in the South. They did the test in Harlem, the urbanized North. And not only they do the test in Harlem, they did a series of tests over a span of 14 years. We don't hear about that part, do we? And in these series of tests, Black children overwhelmingly chose or preferred to play with the white doll. Well, I was raised to prefer to play with the white doll. I was told to go to school, get my degree, and move as far away from the hood as possible. Because it's better to play with the what? White doll. I need to go pay taxes and be around what? White people. I need to go work for who? White people. We still flunking the doll test. Talking about what does it mean to be Black? First thing you got to do is pay. You can't even answer that with me if you can't pass the doll test. We still trying to pass the doll test. They said that in the series of tests, y'all, when it got to that last question, which doll looks like you? that anywhere from 33 to 50% of the black children grab the white dog to fight. It said that another large percentage, when they looked at it and they realized that they was the black dog, they cried and got up and ran out of the room. All of them were between the ages of 3 and 7 years old. What does it mean to be black? We fighting for definitions. Those babies already had a definition. Right. Those babies said the white dog was the nice dog. This is during the 1930s where it wasn't easy. It wasn't hard to find mean white people in the 1930s. Right. They wasn't even fronting in the 1930s. What was it? What was it that caused them to pick those dogs? Many of them went to public school. What was it? They were already being defined. What does it mean to be black? What does it mean to be African? They were not in situations where they were being taught what it meant by people who were proud to be that. They were living in a situation where they go, no blacks can come here, no blacks can go there. They were looking at movies where ain't no black people in the starring roles. They were in school books where everybody who did anything was what? Was white. You ain't got to tell me I'm inferior. Right. All you got to do is show me. You show me this Thomas Jefferson's definition, then I'm going to start living it out. And Malcolm did. Oh, I'm a savage. I'm going to do some savage stuff in these streets. I'm a pimp. I'm a drug dealer. Right. He goes to prison. In prison, he learns knowledge of self. But it's funny because when he gets to prison, and we know a lot of brothers go to prison and they come home, right? And for that first 6 to 8 weeks, they ready, ain't it? I ain't trying to be funny. I work with a lot of brothers at Rihanna, you know, but I know that you catch them with their first 6 to 8 weeks with something tangible, you got a shot. But if they surrounded by that same environment that they surrounded with when they went in, that enthusiasm they have when they come out, it's gonna what? It's gonna plummet. But in prison, you got time to do what? Think. When Malcolm was in prison, his siblings, who were raised by those Garveyites, sent him the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Right? They had held on. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings, a lot of them reflected the teachings of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. They sent Malcolm back. Malcolm embraced that. It touched something in him. It offered him an identity. Elijah Muhammad said, no, you're a black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe. Ooh, the God of the universe. What? When Malcolm heard that, and when a lot of us hear that, we see a new identity. And we say, whoa, this identity empowers me. But with this identity, say you gotta stop drinking, you gotta stop smoking. You gotta stop cussing. There's discipline that comes with this identity. But if you embrace this discipline, you'll get out of prison. Not only will you get out of prison with this discipline, you'll get out of prison and you'll do something great for your people. That's the power of redefinition. Some of us may not believe in what the Nation of Islam teaches or the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's not what I'm here to debate. What I want you to look at is the power of definition. By the time white folks knew the Nation of Islam even existed, they was almost at 100,000 members. Come on. Scared them white folks to death, see a bunch of black men in suits and black women covered up. And you know, them brothers doing this like, man, what are they doing? Negroes is happy. Because that's what Thomas Jefferson said. He said that after a long day of work, the average Negro would be happy to just be able to sing and dance and go to sleep and get up tomorrow and do it again. Ain't that what he said? Yep. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. After a hard day of work, a lot of us be happy to do a little singing, drinking, and dancing, go to bed and get back up and what? Do it again. Y'all, who definition are we living by? Come on. Do y'all think this is all a coincidence? Sure. No. Right? We still flunking the dog test. I mean, shout out to the sister Crockett down in Houston.
She passed the dog test, I
Yes,
say.
we did.
She called a girl bleach blonde, bad bitch. Body. I said, that's what passed the dog test today. She don't want to look like that. She picked the ugly dog, didn't she? We see what she picked when they asked her which dog was that.
Right.
Right? We all have little pockets where we pass the dog test. When we found the Uhuru Academy, we passed the dog test. We had several opportunities to work with the school system. We had several opportunities to do things within the system. We said, no, we need something independent on our own. No matter how small it is, it just has to be ours. And when you have value in self, you have value in what you have. And there's nothing that anybody else can show you to decrease that value to you. But when you don't value self and you open your little schoolhouse, and then the white guy comes and says, oh, that's real good what you built. Yeah, we just put 3 new wings on our school with your tax dollars.
Yeah.
If you don't value self, shut your school down. And you're gonna say, well, we need to go over there. And y'all need to let us come over there then, because y'all using our tax dollars. I mean, you got a point. They shouldn't be using your tax dollars. But you don't want the school, you want your dollars.
That's right.
And the original fight for integration was about integrating those dollars. It was about saving those dollars, bringing our money back into our community. Do y'all know how many Black schools in historic Black communities were built by Black people? Public schools. Without the help of the city or the county, even though they were being taxed for it. Study the history of education in America. Public education among Black people. You stood up and demanded education for your children. And when they wouldn't do it, you built it yourself. I'm talking in the deep South.
Right.
On the West Coast, on the East Coast, in the North, in the Midwest. If it wasn't for Black families, working class Black families, Black children would not have a school to go to. But do we tell that story? No. We say Brown versus Board of Education, the Supreme Court integrated the school. That's an inferiority story.
Yes. Sure.
No, sister. School was gonna happen whether they did that or not.
That's right.
School was happening anyway. They wasn't gonna stop us. They co-opt Black education. They didn't start it.
No.
Do y'all understand that? We have to teach our children that being Black, being African, being Hebrew, being Moor, being whatever you call yourself means resilience. It means beauty. It means ancient wisdom. It means self-love. And we got the proof. It's in our story. But your name is only as valuable as the story you wrap around it.
Sure.
So all this divisiveness that we have amongst us, because we're from all these different places, and we arguing over who the super Black people,
Right.
who the real Black people, all of that is rooted in your own sense of inferiority. Because if you didn't feel inferior, you wouldn't even engage in that conversation. You wouldn't want me to feel inferior unless you felt inferior. You don't have to call yourself an African, but don't deny Africa because you think it's inferior.
Come on.
When the super deep brother come to you and say, you're not an African, you are ancient this, you are supernatural that. Man, you can claim that if you want to, but make sure you love Africa first.
That's right.
Make sure you're not claiming it because you feel like you're getting an upgrade. Because then you got to ask yourself, why does that feel like an upgrade?
Right.
Don't get mad at me if I stay one.
Right.
Now I'm gonna rock right here, that man. You just don't know, man. We more than that. What do you mean? How much is that? How much value is that? What do you mean more? Who made it less? I mean, I rock with y'all, but I don't know what them African religion, that black magic, that voodoo, that's right. They're talking about Sean going all these ditches. I don't believe in that. Yeah, I know, man. It's way more realistic that there's people in the clouds flying around with wings.
Come on.
I feel you. We being totally irrational. It make way more sense as a big old white man up there with lightning bolts and stuff that strike you down when you lie. I feel you. That whole Santa Claus science, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling that.
I'm feeling that Santa Clausology. You know what I'm talking about? Not to clown anybody's spiritual beliefs. But in all of our spiritual systems, there are elements that are unseen that you choose to believe are real.
Right, right.
And the value you put on somebody else's fairy tale is linked in the value you put on them. So the Europeans can give you a fairy tale and you'll stake your soul on it. Without proof. I know God talked to me last night. You don't know who that was. Let's just be real. Somebody did talk to you last night. But you've been taught that that voice is a God. You've been taught that that voice is a particular God. And you choose to what? Believe that. It could be your ancestors. Which makes most sense since you have their DNA coded in your body.
That's right.
At least I have a scientific basis for saying, man, I think Big Mama was talking to me last night. Because you are Big Mama. Literally. That's not fantasy.
Right.
That's real. That's tangible. That's science. But you don't say, my ancestors, man, ooh, my ancestors gave me the wisdom to figure this out. You say, God gave it to me. And then when you close out and you see God, who do you see? Be front. Some of them still don't be front. Some of us still say that's Jesus, and then you see the black one, you say that's black Jesus.
I open my eyes and close them again.
You get it? Right. I shake my head. I'm good. I'm good. You about me? I rebuke thee.
Right.
It's been encoded in us, man, mentally, spiritually, and it causes us to believe in our own innate inferiority. And it hinders us from ever being able to come together. Because even after you grab your dashiki and you feel black power and all that, but you think everybody from Trinidad is still inferior. That don't mean you love the black people in Bolivia.
Right.
What about black people what about the Garifuna people? What about them? Huh? What about the Ghanaians? What about the Guyanese? What about them? Don't let these internet people trick you into not liking black people from other places.
Come on.
What kind of mess is that? When you say, I'm just going to be a foundation American, guess what you just picked? The white dog.
Yes, you did.
Ain't dissing nobody. What? If I'm just a black American. But American is the white dog.
Oh.
Y'all can argue with me right now. American is if you're African American, that's fine. You are African. You are an American citizen. But understand that the American part of you is the white dog. And when we kill each other, we're not being black, we're being Americans.
Come on.
We're not being Africans. When we call each other B's and H's, they used to call a black woman a bitch on the plantation because a bitch is an animal that's in heat. Yeah. And the same doctor that delivered the horse babies used to deliver the black woman's baby, and they would call her a bitch and say she about to have pups.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
9 years old, she get her cycle. Oh, she's a bitch.
Yep. Ready.
She's bitching. She ready. Go get that buck.
Yep.
And put the bitch with the buck. So we can have some pups that we can grow, that we can raise and exploit.
Yes.
That sounds familiar. What does it mean to be black? And who's giving you the definition? Which definition are we accepting? And are you willing to fight for your name? Are you willing to fight for your identity? And are you willing to join a global fight for our global identity? Stay here. What happens over there affects you.
That's it.
When they're genociding over there, oh, you don't think that, so you think that they'll enslave you for over 300 years, but you don't think they'll genocide you?
Come on.
All they got to do is prove to the rest of the world that you don't deserve to be here.
Right. Right.
And we provide them with so much good footage to show. Look at Diddy. We gave him $1 billion. Look at him, still a savage.
Right. He only carry around the European behavior. He's only carrying out the European behavior.
Look at him. Look at them. Look what happens when we give them freedom. Look at them. They're just out here killing each other. Look at them. We told you they're inferior. That's why 2 million of them are in our prisons. They're still slaves. We still have 2 million of them enslaved. When they say that, are they lying? We still have 2 million of them in our jails. They can't stop. Look, 85% of them leave and they come right back. They're not giving any what? Context.
Right.
No. So if a genocide or when the genocide or as the genocide is happening, there's no outcry. They tell her when she comes over and they might pull her to the side and say, welcome to the United States. Now stay away from Black America.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they do.
Stay away from them. But they don't want you to stay away from the good ones. They really want you to stay away from me. They really want you to stay away from those of us who are trying to connect and do something powerful and paint us all with a broad brush. Then we get told, them African people, they don't like us, them people that come over here.
Right. They take our money, our jobs.
Rich people love xenophobia.
Yeah.
Rich people love get a bunch of poor people fighting over crumbs.
Right.
Because that means they get to take the lion's share of the money and ain't nobody saying nothing.
Right.
You too busy fighting this other poor person while this rich person is making money out both of you.
That's right.
So what does it mean to be Black? If we don't figure it out, their plan works. Let's get into our dialogue.
Hey.
All right, y'all. Look, powerful lecture. Powerful lecture. We actually went on to have a very powerful panel discussion right after the lecture. And I'll come back perhaps next week to share the panel discussion. It was a very, very powerful dialogue that we had. I had the honor of delivering a keynote prior to that. Shout out to everybody who sat through that and participated at the time. Again, shout out to the Our Black Fathers Committee out there, our Arizona RBG brothers and sisters, the Queens. Trust me, some powerful queens holding them brothers up. Shout out to that collective for the beautiful work that they continue to do. Shout out to the Grassroots Bookstore. If you're ever in Phoenix, Arizona, make sure you go to the Grassroots Bookstore and support that beautiful institution as well. Shout out to my brother Matthew Ali out there, True Sankofa out there, my brother Bilal, Crondo, the whole AZ family. At the beginning of the broadcast, I was playing our song Rebellion. We actually recorded that out there with OBFC in their studios, you know what I'm saying, while we were out there. So it's a blessing to have family all over the world, right? To sum it up, y'all, all the divisiveness that's going on, it's only prevalent because the unity people ain't talking. In the 2010s and into the 2010s, when the RBG movement was strong and we were having Temple from coast to coast and having RBG Family Weekend every year, you didn't see these conversations dominating the internet. You didn't see these conversations about FBA versus ADOS and all that kind of stuff dominating the internet. Pan-Africanism is dead, you know what I'm saying, dominating the internet. You didn't see that. And it's cool. Everyone has a right to their opinion, right? But those of us who are not of that, those of us who are actually putting in work and experiencing the power, the transformative power, the tangible gains and power from global African sovereignty and unity, those of us who experience that, we have to speak up more. We have to speak up more about our experiences, right? You all just engaged in a dialogue and saw a dialogue. In that room, we had Africans from throughout the diaspora in that room. You understand what I'm saying? And so for people to say it's dead, it's not the way, that sort of thing, you know what? Clean glass, dirty glass. Just show us the tangibles. You know what I'm saying?
Focus on working on your ideology and showing us what the fruit that it bears. What I'll do is continue to show the fruit that our ideology or the ideology that we subscribe to bears for us, right? And we can just go from there. All right. And so I want to thank you all for being a part of this tonight. This is we just getting started. I just started a new Facebook group called the Temple of New African Unity. All right. I will be inviting those of you who are here tonight. Matter of fact, let me do this right quick. Can I do this? Will y'all bear with me right quick? I want to invite you all to join me on this mission. I want to invite you all to join me on this mission to create safe spaces for us to preserve and build our unity. You know what I'm saying? It's our responsibility. We're not going to sit up here and be afraid. We're not going to sit up here and be shamed into it. If unifying with black folks is corny, I'm just corny. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with being corny. I ain't worried about none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with people saying, yeah, what you doing ain't right. Well, y'all wrong. Y'all lame. Y'all did, man. I got over peer pressure like in high school. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the work that we're doing with the Uhuru Academy, y'all. We had students coming from Ghana to graduate with us this year, traveling, right? You think I'm going to call somebody out their name or look down on someone from the continent when we're working together to educate our children together? We have teachers on the continent, right? We have students that are Garifuna people, you know, in our school, right? So yeah, man, look. And we got proud foundational black Americans in our school, Hebrew Israelites in our school. It's all good. We are not all the same, but we can respect each other. That we can do. We can treat each other the way we would like to be treated. That we could do. We could even root each other on. Because even though I'm not a member of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, you don't think I would rejoice if there was a Black Hebrew Israelite community built with houses and a government, local government, or even a nation? You think I wouldn't be happy for them? You think it would be beautiful to see people who look like us circulating their dollars, building their own businesses, keeping their families together? You think I'm worried about, us not having the same religion when that happens? You think I want to stop somebody who comes to me and say, hey man, I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, you know what I'm saying? I just joined this African centered church, you know what I'm saying? God is black and we African centered, this African centered church. You think I'm going to say, well, technically a church can be African centered. We need to just get rid of all Christianity. Man, look up, that dude going to be smoking cigarettes again tomorrow. Every movement is a bridge to some and a home to others. And if you burn in bridges, you're an agent. If you out here burning bridges, you're an agent. You're either getting paid to be one or you're offering up your services for free because of your inferiority complex. Now, it's okay to debate for critical thinking's sake, but you can debate without destroying. You can debate without attacking. You can debate without debasing. Or disrespecting. You understand what I'm saying? But the best point you could ever make is the proof of your work. You judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. I'm going to say it again. You judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. So something might sound good. Something might look good. But what type of fruit are they bearing? What type of fruit is being spawned from that tree? Best guide you can ever have when looking to see what type of organization you want to join. Don't join anything based on ideology alone. You have to look at the fruit. You have to go in with the question, what are we doing? What have we done? What are we going to do? Because if we doing something powerful, really doing it, when you and I fall out because people fall out, we'll have to make amends because we built something too powerful to let it go away and fall to the wayside. But one of the biggest indicators that something ain't happening or ain't nothing going on within an organization is if as soon as there's an argument, they split. That means there's something that we don't have enough in between us to where we can work out our differences for the people. So it's real easy to be on the internet and argue and say, that's dead. That ain't nothing. They ain't talking about nothing. They ain't nothing. They ain't nothing. It's easy to do that because there's nothing really at stake. I can't come out and diss people. I can't come out and play those games because I have people who depend on me in real life. My family, my extended family, my students, you know what I'm saying? The community itself. So we can't play those games at the Uhuru Academy. Those of us who have businesses on the ground, we can't play those games. Those who just got a job and you Charles Wilson at work and Mustafa Africa on the internet, you could play all kind of games because you ain't risking nothing. You're going to be Charles in the morning at the Amazon warehouse. And don't nobody know what you was up to tonight with your pro-black talk. But those of us who've accepted ideologies and stepped out here and actually build our lives around the ideology, we ain't got time to play games. And one of the first things we learn is live and let live. Let's keep working. Let's keep building positive and safe spaces where our children can think, where our children can grow, where our people can learn, prosper, thrive. Let's continue to acquire property and land. Let's go black to the land. Let's continue to build bridges across the water. You sitting here talking about don't mess with them people over there, and you looking at your open enemy, your fellow Americans. They doing business with the folks you trying to get away from. United States just cut a mineral deal with the Congo. But you worried about you ain't African. United States act like they enemies with Russia, but do you know that we over here we import over almost $500 million worth of goods out of Russia every year? Is that how you treat an enemy? That don't make it. Excuse me. I'm not gonna go there tonight. I got work to do. Right? I got work to do. But I appreciate you all listening. We're going to do this real soon. Like, share, comment. If you're going to support. If you're just going to look, nod, and then go look for some drama on the internet, I don't need you. All right? We don't need you. But if you're going to show support, man. Spread the word. Let's keep it going. Create something positive for black people. Yo, I love you. I don't mind telling you. I'm out.
Speak through me, ancestors. Speak through me. Jimmy Kato was an African warrior who refused to be a slave. Back then, enslaved Africans knew who they were. And they did everything they needed to do. Ran to the hills, burned the house down. Anything they had to do to not believe that they were slaves.
I pretend to be a Catholic, but Ephi's what I practice. If we truly share the God, then why would they attack us? My captors speak Portuguese, I understand the language. I vow to never speak it, cause it represents my anguish. Months on the slave ship, weeks on an island, still haven't broke the warrior spirit I'm disguising. My people call me J-May, others call me Kato. They call the river Stono. They say that if you follow, that you can find Uhuru, the end of all your sorrow. A whisper in my ear,
burn Massa House tomorrow.
Congo yetu, yumbani kwa roho zetu, nili pikana kume, kwa Uhuru wetu. Asante, my descendants, will you make my spirit welcome? The spear was my tool, but my culture was my weapon. Please repeat my story, cause I will not live to tell one. I achieved my glory when I heard them yell rebellion. Asante, my descendants, will you make my spirit welcome? The gun was my tool, but my culture was my weapon. Please repeat my story, cause I will not live to tell one. I achieved my glory when I heard them yell rebellion.
For us, freedom was 200 miles away at Fort Mose. We just got across the bay, win at night, forcing the fight where they lay. The fright, knowing they might not see the day. We were strong, some of our own we had to slay. They were wrong, spirit spiritually gone and led astray. I want my throne. This was never my home. That's far away. I'm not alone. Spread out the bones and got our shake at the top. They tell us to stop. We face to face if we escape. I know they too scared to give a chase. I put tumble in the ground, the blood go down my face. Cold water, swim, daughter, try to keep the pace.
Asante, my descendants, will you make my spirit welcome? The spear was my tool, but my culture was my weapon. Please repeat my story, cause I will not live to tell one. I achieved my glory when I heard them yell rebellion. Asante, my descendants, will you make my spirit welcome? The gun was my tool, but my culture was my weapon. Please repeat my story, cause I will not live to tell one. I achieved my glory when I heard them yell rebellion.